Do you recognize me, human? I'm your childhood neighbor, said the alien beauty. After 10 years traveling the stars, charting unknown systems, and surviving situations most humans could only imagine, he expected the familiar streets of his hometown to feel comforting. Instead, as his ship descended toward the small interstellar colony of New Haven, a strange mix of nostalgia and unease settled in his chest. The colony was much like he remembered it, a cluster of silver and glass buildings nestled into the side of a green ridge, with narrow streets winding between market squares, parks, and residential blocks. Hovering transports glided silently above, carrying goods and passengers, and small robotic assistants moved along sidewalks, keeping the place clean and orderly. Yet something felt different. New Haven had grown, adapted, and changed while Elias was gone, and so had he. As he stepped down onto the polished landing platform, Elias adjusted the strap of his messenger bag. The warm sunlight filtered through the faint haze of the atmosphere, reflecting off the glass buildings. He took a deep breath. The smell of flowers from a nearby park mixed with the faint scent of ionized air from passing hovercars, and for a moment he felt as though he had stepped back into his childhood. Yet nostalgia was quickly interrupted. A soft, melodic voice echoed through the plaza, and it stopped him cold. "Do you recognize me, human?" Elias spun around, searching for the speaker. At first, he saw nothing unusual, just the crowd of humans, children playing near a fountain, and robotic cleaners moving in precise patterns. But then, out of the corner of his eye, he noticed a figure walking toward him. She was beautiful, so strikingly beautiful that he froze in place. Her skin shimmered with a faint iridescence that seemed almost liquid in the sunlight. Her hair floated in subtle waves, shimmering silver with hints of pale violet. And her eyes were a brilliant shade of green that seemed to hold entire galaxies within them. But the most astonishing thing was the familiarity. Her face, her smile, the way she held herself, it stirred something deep in his memory. "You Lyra?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The alien beauty nodded, a small, amused smile on her lips. "Yes, Lyra, your childhood neighbor." Elias took a step back, blinking rapidly. That's impossible. You're an alien. You weren't even supposed to exist on Earth, let alone live next door." Lyra tilted her head slightly, as if considering how to explain something incredibly complicated in simple words. "You would be surprised, human. My species has been here longer than you think. We left our homeworld to observe, to learn, and sometimes to play among your kind. I was always near you. I grew up beside you, watched you learn, and learned from you." Elias laughed nervously. "Watched me, learned from me. You're saying you were my neighbor and I never knew." "Yes," Lyra said softly, stepping closer. "And now, after all these years, we meet again." Her words sent shivers down his spine. Memories he hadn't thought about in decades began to surface. Memories of a quiet girl who had lived next door, who had laughed with him in the park, who had shared secret games in the garden. Except these memories didn't fit. He remembered her as human, small, curious, smiling. But the Lyra in front of him, she was not human, not entirely. Elias ran a hand through his hair. I don't know what to say. You're beautiful, but this is insane. How did you?" Lyra's smile widened. "I know it's hard to believe. But some truths are stranger than the stories humans tell themselves. You always had a curious mind, Elias. You loved to explore. You asked questions no one else thought to ask. That's why we chose to stay close. And that is why I am here now." Elias' mind was racing. 10 years of traveling the galaxy, encountering alien species, learning about civilizations light years away, and none of it had prepared him for this moment. His childhood neighbor, now an alien of breathtaking beauty, standing before him and calling him by name. "Wait," he said finally, taking a deep breath. "You're saying you were an alien living on Earth all this time, watching me, learning from me?" Lyra nodded again. "Yes, but not only from you, from everyone around you. Humans have qualities that my people admire. Courage, creativity, empathy, resilience, qualities that are rare in the galaxy." Elias felt a rush of pride mixed with disbelief. He had always believed humans were special, but to hear an alien say it, to see it in the eyes of someone who literally came from another world, it was overwhelming. He studied her carefully. "And now, why are you here?" Lyra's gaze grew serious. "Because my people need your kind. Something is coming, Elias, something that threatens not just my world but many others, and only humans, only you can help." Elias' heart raced. Adventure had always called to him, but he had never imagined it would start like this. Childhood games, memories of quiet streets, and now an urgent call across the stars. "You're serious," he said, his voice steadying. "You're not just teasing me." "I never tease," Lyra replied, a soft laugh escaping her. "I tell the truth. And the truth is, humans have a role in this galaxy far greater than you imagine." Elias took a moment to let her words sink in. His life had been full of danger and discovery, but this was personal. This was a link to his past, a connection that no training or mission could prepare him for. "So, my childhood neighbor, my friend, is an alien," he muttered under his breath, shaking his head in wonder. "I guess that makes me the human who's about to save the galaxy." Lyra's smile returned, brighter now. "Perhaps, but first, you need to remember." She extended her hand, and Elias hesitated only for a moment before taking it. The moment their fingers touched, a flood of memories surged through him. Memories he had forgotten, memories of games in backyards, of secret conversations beneath trees, of laughter shared under the sun. But there was more. He saw flashes of things he had never truly understood before. Glimpses of Lyra's true form, moments when she had shielded him from small accidents, guided him through difficult decisions, helped him grow into the person he had become. "I remember," he whispered, awe and wonder in his voice. "All of it, I remember you." Lyra's eyes shimmered. "Good, remembering is important. It is what connects our past to the present and the future." Elias stepped back, letting go of her hand, though his mind was still spinning. "So, what now? What do we do?" Lyra looked toward the horizon, her gaze distant. "Now we prepare. My people are not safe. A threat approaches that we cannot face alone. Humans, your kind, are stronger than you think. You adapt, you endure, you inspire, and you can make a difference." Elias felt a surge of determination. 10 years among the stars had taught him many things, but he realized now that the greatest strength lay not in technology or weapons or even strategy, but in the spirit of humans themselves. Courage, creativity, empathy, these were his true tools and perhaps the galaxy's most underestimated weapons. He turned back to Lyra, resolve in his eyes. "Then I'll help, whatever it takes, together." Lyra's smile returned, warm and luminous. "I knew you would say that. It is why I sought you out. And Elias, I never stopped believing in you." For the first time in years, Elias felt a profound sense of purpose. Adventure, danger, and discovery awaited him once more, but this time it was not just about survival. It was about connection, about bridging worlds, about proving that humanity could shine brightly even in the vast darkness of the stars. And as he walked beside Lyra through the familiar streets of New Haven, he realized that the galaxy was far larger, far stranger, and far more wonderful than he had ever imagined, and that the human spirit would always find a way to stand tall among the stars. Elias walked beside Lyra through the streets of New Haven, his mind buzzing with questions. He had spent 10 years exploring unknown worlds, meeting aliens from distant galaxies, and surviving dangers that would terrify most humans, but nothing had prepared him for this. His childhood neighbor, the girl he had played with, had returned as an alien, radiant and otherworldly, and she claimed that humans had a special place in the galaxy. Lyra seemed to sense his thoughts. "You have many questions," she said gently, her voice like a soft melody. "And I will answer them as best I can." Elias nodded. "Start from the beginning. Tell me everything, why you were here, why you left, and why now." Lyra's eyes reflected the sunlight as she spoke. "I am part of a species called the Elorians. We come from a distant star system, far beyond the planets humans know. Our kind has lived in secret among humans for many generations, studying your ways, learning your culture, and understanding what makes your species unique." Elias' brow furrowed. "Studying humans. You mean like observing us, like experiments?" Lyra shook her head, her expression softening. "Not experiments, Elias, observation, yes, but with respect. We sought to understand the qualities that make humans strong. Curiosity, creativity, empathy, determination, qualities that cannot be measured by technology or strength alone." Elias blinked. "And somehow I helped with that." Lyra smiled, a touch of nostalgia in her eyes. "You were always curious, always brave, always kind in ways that mattered. As a child, you noticed things others ignored. You solved problems with clever thinking, even when you didn't realize it, and you treated others with respect. These were lessons for me, Elias. You taught me more than you could know." Elias felt a strange warmth spread through him. He had never thought of himself as special. As a child, he had been ordinary, just a curious boy with a love for exploring. Yet Lyra's words made him see his past in a new light. Do you mean I made a difference?" he asked softly. Lyra's eyes sparkled. "Yes, you made a difference in ways you cannot imagine, and now, the time has come for humans to make a difference again, but first you must understand the past fully." They walked into a quiet park at the edge of the colony. The air was fresh, filled with the scent of blooming trees and soft grass underfoot. Children laughed in the distance, and robotic assistants moved silently along the paths. Elias sat on a bench, still trying to digest everything. Lyra settled beside him. "When I was a child, my people lived quietly among humans. We were careful, always hidden, always watching, learning. Your neighborhood, your family, your friends, they unknowingly influenced me. You showed kindness, courage, and determination in ways that left a mark on me." Elias shook his head. "I don't understand. You say you were here as a child, but you didn't look like this. You were human, right?" Lyra laughed softly. "I had the ability to take on a form that humans could accept, to walk among you without fear. But even then, I was learning. Every smile, every act of kindness, every choice you made, I remembered it all." Elias leaned back, trying to picture a young Lyra playing in his yard. It felt surreal. The girl he remembered, the one who had shared secrets and laughter, was now this incredible being standing before him, and she had been learning from him all along. "You watched me grow?" he asked quietly. "Not just watched," Lyra corrected. "You inspired me. Your courage, even in small things, taught me about the human spirit. That is why I returned." Elias frowned. "But you said there's danger, something coming that only humans can help with. How do my childhood memories matter to that?" Lyra's expression grew serious. "Because the same qualities that shaped you as a child, the curiosity, creativity, and empathy, are what your species needs now. The galaxy is vast, and not all who travel it are friendly. My people, we face a threat unlike any we have encountered. It is a force of precision, strategy, and technology, but it lacks imagination, adaptability, and heart. These are qualities humans excel at. That is why I came to you." Elias' mind raced. "So humans were supposed to what? Fight them?" Lyra shook her head gently. "Not fight in the way you imagine. Humans do not rely solely on weapons or machines. You think differently, adapt quickly, and solve problems that others cannot. Your strength lies in your unpredictability, your creativity, your ability to unite for a cause greater than yourselves. That is what will help us. That is why I sought you out." Elias took a deep breath, letting her words sink in. He had spent his life exploring the stars, learning alien languages, studying advanced technology. But this was different. This was personal. This was about something bigger than any mission he had ever undertaken. "And you're asking me to trust humans like that?" he said quietly. Lyra's eyes softened. "Yes, I'm asking you to trust yourself and to trust your people. Humans are stronger than they realize, and you are capable of extraordinary things. I have seen it in you since you were a child." Elias stared at her, awe and doubt swirling together. "It's a lot to take in. I mean, my childhood neighbor is an alien. My childhood lessons are supposed to save the galaxy, and now I have to trust humans to do what even advanced species cannot. It sounds impossible." Lyra's hand touched his, gentle and steady. "Sometimes the impossible is just something no one has tried yet. And humans, you have a way of making the impossible happen. I have faith in you, Elias." For a long moment, they sat in silence, letting the calm of the park fill the space between them. The sun dipped lower, casting long shadows across the green grass. Elias felt a mix of fear, excitement, and determination. The adventure that had begun in childhood games was about to reach far beyond Earth, beyond the stars he had explored, beyond anything he had imagined. Finally, he spoke. "Tell me more about your people, about your world. I need to understand what we're dealing with." Lyra's eyes glimmered. "We are the Elorians. Our homeworld Eloria is far from here, orbiting a binary star system. Our society values knowledge, creativity, and harmony. We have learned much from observing other species, but humans are different. You take risks, you innovate, you feel deeply. And your empathy, it guides your actions in ways technology cannot. That is why the threat we face, the aggression coming toward us, is dangerous but not unstoppable, because humans will change the outcome." Elias nodded slowly. "And this threat, it's coming soon?" "Yes," Lyra said. A neighboring species, one far more technologically advanced than even the Alorians, has set its sights on my world. They are precise, logical, and ruthless. But they do not understand humans. They underestimate your creativity, your courage, your ability to adapt. That is why you matter. That is why I came to you. Elias felt a surge of resolve. He had faced danger before, but never in such a personal way. This was not about exploration or discovery. This was about connection, about friendship, about proving that humans, ordinary, flawed, and yet remarkable, could stand against impossible odds. Lyra's gaze softened again, a reminder of the bond they had shared in childhood. I have watched you grow, Elias. I have seen the best of humanity in you, and now it is time to show the galaxy what humans can do. Elias smiled, a mix of nervousness and determination on his face. Then I will help. Whatever it takes, we'll do this together. Lyra's smile brightened, radiant as the setting sun. Good, but first you must reconnect with the others. Humans are scattered across the stars. We need your kind to come together to unite. Your strength lies in your unity, your courage, and your ability to think in ways no one else can. That is the key to survival. Elias felt a new sense of purpose. The adventure he thought he had left behind in childhood was only beginning. And this time it was bigger than him, bigger than Earth. It was about the future of worlds and the incredible power of the human spirit. Together they rose from the bench, the air filled with the scent of flowers and the quiet hum of the colony around them. The journey ahead was uncertain, dangerous, and full of challenges. But Elias knew one thing for certain: humans would rise to meet it. And with Lyra by his side, he felt ready for anything. As they walked through the glowing streets of New Haven, Elias couldn't help but marvel at the strange twist of fate that had brought them together again. Childhood memories, forgotten lessons, and the unbreakable human spirit were about to collide with the vast mysteries of the galaxy. And in that moment, he knew that the adventure of a lifetime was only just beginning. The stars above New Haven shone brilliantly, but their light seemed small compared to the weight of what Elias now faced. Lyra had spoken of a threat, a neighboring alien civilization with immense technological power and a ruthless agenda. Yet, what unsettled Elias most was the knowledge that this enemy did not understand humans. They would underestimate the one thing that made humans extraordinary: creativity, courage, and heart. Elias stood on a hill overlooking the colony, the soft hum of hovercars below blending with the quiet rustle of the trees. Lyra was beside him, her eyes scanning the horizon as though she could sense distant danger in the very air. "They are coming," she said softly, breaking the silence. "Not immediately, but soon, and when they arrive, they will not wait for diplomacy or negotiation. They will strike to conquer, to control, to dominate." Elias clenched his fists. "How do we prepare? My people are scattered. Many don't even know we exist, and even if they do, humans aren't ready for interstellar warfare." Lyra shook her head gently. "Humans are always ready when it matters most. It is your ability to adapt that gives you strength. You learn quickly, you work together, you find solutions no one else sees. That is why I chose you, Elias. That is why I came to Earth." Elias exhaled slowly, letting her words sink in. His mind drifted to the countless missions he had led across the stars. Humans had always surprised him. Their resourcefulness, their courage under pressure, their ability to improvise when technology failed or circumstances shifted. Perhaps that unpredictability, so often dismissed by other species, was exactly what was needed now. "Then we start with gathering humans," he said finally. "We need people who are smart, brave, and willing to take risks, people who can think differently when everything seems hopeless." Lyra nodded. "There are humans across the galaxy who have shown exceptional qualities. You must find them, unite them, teach them to trust one another and to trust themselves. The enemy does not understand emotions, intuition, or creativity. Use that against them." Elias felt a thrill of determination. The task was enormous, but he could not ignore the challenge. "Where do we start?" he asked. Lyra gestured toward the sky. "The first step is to understand the enemy, their strengths, their weaknesses, and how they approach conflict. Observation is key. They are efficient, logical, and disciplined, but they are rigid. They follow patterns. Humans are unpredictable. That is your advantage." Elias nodded, imagining the alien forces approaching. He had seen organized militaries before, but never one that seemed almost machine-like in its precision. Yet he knew humans thrived in chaos. Improvisation, adaptability, and teamwork were second nature to them. He turned to Lyra. We need scouts, strategists, engineers, people who can think on their feet. I'll reach out to my network, friends I've met in the colonies, explorers, pilots, and anyone willing to fight for something bigger than themselves. Lyra smiled. Good, but remember, Elia's leadership is not only about tactics, it is about inspiration. Humans respond to courage and vision. Show them what is at stake, and they will rise. Elias felt a surge of energy. He had led teams in hostile environments before, but this was different. This was not about survival or discovery. It was about rallying humans for a purpose greater than any individual. The first challenge was communication. Elias sent messages across multiple colonies, calling for humans with exceptional skills, bravery, and ingenuity to gather at New Haven. Within hours, replies began to arrive. Pilots, engineers, scientists, and explorers volunteered. Some came out of curiosity, others out of loyalty to humanity, and many simply because they believed in Elias. As humans arrived, Elias watched them closely. Each person brought unique skills, but all shared common traits: determination, intelligence, and courage. They were ordinary in appearance, yet extraordinary in spirit. Lyra guided them with care, sharing knowledge of the enemy and teaching strategies that relied not on brute force, but on creativity, unpredictability, and unity. She emphasized that humans' ability to improvise, to think beyond logic, and to empathize with one another could turn the tide of the coming conflict. Observe, Lyra said during a training session. The enemy is precise but predictable. They calculate but they do not imagine. They anticipate logic but not heart. Humans are full of heart. Use it. Trust it. Elias watched as humans began to adapt to the alien strategies, experimenting with unconventional tactics. Some pilots modified ships in unexpected ways, turning ordinary vessels into agile maneuvering machines. Engineers developed clever defenses using limited resources. Tacticians designed plans that relied on human unpredictability to confuse and outsmart the enemy. Even in these early exercises, Lyra's words proved true. The humans' creativity was unmatched. Where the aliens expected rigidity, they encountered flexibility. Where they expected caution, they found boldness. Where they expected conformity, they faced collaboration and ingenuity. Elias felt pride in his people, but he also knew the real challenge was still ahead. This is only practice, he said to Lyra one evening, watching the sun set over New Haven. We are learning, but the enemy is still out there waiting. Lyra nodded. Yes, but every day you train, every strategy you test, every human you inspire, you are preparing for the day they arrive. And when that day comes, humans will surprise them. Elias looked at the sky, imagining the approaching alien fleet. It was vast, advanced, and relentless, but he also imagined his humans, united and adaptable, ready to turn chaos into strength. They had courage, empathy, and ingenuity on their side. The first sign of the enemy came quietly. A scout vessel, sleek and black, appeared near the edge of the solar system. Its sensors were advanced, its speed unmatched by human vessels. Lyra detected it instantly, her iridescent eyes glowing faintly in the twilight. They are testing the defenses, she said. They want to see what you are capable of before striking fully, but this is good. It gives us insight. Watch, learn, and adapt. Elias quickly organized a small team to intercept the scout. Pilots and engineers worked together to modify their ships, using clever designs and unpredictable maneuvers to approach the alien vessel without being detected. They moved quietly, relying on ingenuity and coordination rather than raw power. The interception was tense. The scout vessel was fast, precise, and aggressive, but the human team used tactics that the aliens could not predict. They created illusions, used unexpected routes, and relied on intuition rather than algorithmic calculations. Slowly, they gained the upper hand. When the scout finally retreated, Elias felt a surge of triumph. We did it, he said, breathing heavily. We outsmarted them. Lyra smiled, proud but serious. Yes, and that is why humans are essential. Your unpredictability, your creativity, your courage, these are not weaknesses, they are strengths. The enemy underestimates you, and that is their greatest mistake. Elias looked at the faces of the humans around him. Ordinary people, yes, but united, inventive, and fearless in the face of danger. He realized then that Lyra was right. The galaxy had seen humans as fragile, limited, and ordinary, but humans were extraordinary in ways no technology could measure. "Prepare for the next wave," Lyra said softly, sensing Elia's thoughts. "It will not be easy. The real battle is coming, but you are ready. Humans always are when it matters most." Elias nodded, determination burning in his eyes. "Then we fight not with fear, but with ingenuity, courage, and heart. We'll show them that humans are not to be underestimated." The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across New Haven. Elias stood tall, looking at the stars. Somewhere out there, the enemy waited, confident in their power. But they did not understand humans. They did not understand the spark that made humanity resilient, adaptable, and courageous. And Elias knew that when the time came, humans would rise to meet the threat, not with machines alone, but with creativity, empathy, and an unbreakable spirit. Lyra stepped beside him, her hand brushing his. "You are not alone, Elias. Humans will rise. And I will be with you every step of the way." Elias felt a surge of hope. The coming battle would be difficult, but humanity had something no other species could claim: heart, courage, imagination. And the bond between humans and between him and Lyra was stronger than any weapon. The galaxy was about to witness the full power of humanity, and Elias Marlowe was ready to lead them. The first real battle was upon them. The alien fleet that Lyra had warned about approached the outer edge of the human colonies with quiet, relentless precision. Their ships gleamed like black shards against the stars, moving in perfect formation, each vessel a testament to advanced technology and ruthless efficiency. Yet Elias knew that their strength lay not in fear alone. The humans he had gathered, pilots, engineers, tacticians, and ordinary volunteers, carried a weapon no alien could predict: creativity. Elias stood on the command deck of the flagship, looking out at the approaching enemy. The humans around him moved with purpose, their faces focused yet calm. Every person knew the stakes. Every person understood that the galaxy was watching and that humanity's spirit would be the deciding factor. Lyra hovered beside him, her iridescent eyes scanning the fleet. "They are confident," she said softly. "But confidence can be dangerous. They do not anticipate what humans are capable of. That is their weakness." Elias nodded. "Then we will make them regret it. Humans fight differently. We adapt, improvise, and unite." They won't see it coming. The humans had spent days preparing, modifying their ships, designing unconventional defenses, and creating new strategies that relied on unpredictability rather than raw firepower. Pilots had trained to execute maneuvers that no algorithm could predict. Engineers had devised flexible defenses using limited resources, and tacticians had built plans that leveraged human creativity in every aspect. "Let's begin," Elias commanded. "Deploy the scouts. Position the defenses, and remember, think like humans, move like humans, fight like humans." As the humans launched from their bases, the alien fleet reacted with cold precision. Their movements were exact, calculated, and methodical, a pattern repeated thousands of times across their history of conquest. But humans did not follow patterns. Humans improvised, adjusted, and created opportunities out of chaos. The first engagement began near the edge of the colony's defense perimeter. The scouts, flying smaller, faster ships, darted through asteroid fields and nebula clouds, using terrain to hide their movements. The alien vessels, though faster and stronger, were slow to adapt to the unexpected. Each time they anticipated a straight attack, the humans shifted tactics, striking from different angles, disappearing, then reappearing where they were least expected. Elias watched the action unfold from the command deck, heart pounding with pride. "They're doing it," he said. "They're using their heads, their instincts, exactly like I hoped." Lyra smiled, but her expression remained serious. "This is only the beginning. The enemy will learn quickly, but humans grow under pressure. Observe, adjust, and use what you see." On the battlefield, human ingenuity shone. Pilots created decoys out of abandoned satellites, fooling the aliens into targeting illusions. Engineers modified energy shields to reflect enemy lasers in unexpected directions, creating openings for counterattacks. Tacticians coordinated flanking maneuvers, using unpredictable timing and unconventional paths that no alien mind could anticipate. Each success fueled the humans' confidence. Ordinary people became heroes, solving problems in ways that machines could not calculate. The alien fleet, once composed and confident, began to falter as it encountered tactics they could not predict. Elias took a deep breath, realizing the truth of what Lyra had said. Human strength lay in their heart, their imagination, and their courage. They did not need superior technology to make a difference. They only needed to think, act, and trust in each other. Lyra's voice rang in his mind. The enemy is precise, but humans are limitless. They calculate, but humans feel. They strategize, but humans imagine. Use that. Trust that. Elias nodded, issuing commands with renewed confidence. Prepare the main fleet for coordinated maneuvers. Don't fight like them, fight like humans. Move unpredictably, divide and surprise. Remember what makes us strong: courage, unity, and creativity. The main fleet engaged shortly after. Alien ships, expecting straightforward combat, were met with unpredictable formations, unexpected attacks, and clever diversions. Humans exploited their understanding of each other, trusting instinct and improvisation. Each encounter demonstrated the power of unity and the ingenuity that had defined humanity for centuries. One pilot, a young woman named Kara, executed a maneuver that bypassed an enemy's defenses entirely, sending a small ship deep into the alien formation to disable critical systems. Another engineer, Tomas, created a temporary energy trap that disrupted enemy communications, sowing confusion. Small victories accumulated, building momentum that no algorithm or pattern could counter. Elias felt a surge of pride as he watched these actions unfold. "This is what I dreamed of," he said quietly. "This is humanity at its best." Lyra, hovering near him, nodded. "It is not just technology that wins battles. It is the spirit of humans, unpredictable, adaptable, and courageous. Even in the face of overwhelming odds, you shine." The alien commanders, unused to such unpredictability, attempted to adapt. But their reliance on rigid strategy became their weakness. Every predictable calculation was met with an unexpected human move. Every planned attack was countered with improvisation. And every time they adjusted, the humans were already thinking 2 steps ahead, guided by intuition and teamwork. As the battle raged, Elias noticed that the humans were not only fighting, they were learning. Each encounter taught them new ways to anticipate the enemy's moves, to exploit weaknesses, and to protect each other. Human adaptability was on full display, a force the aliens could neither measure nor understand. Lyra observed the unfolding chaos with satisfaction. "Do you see, Elias? Humans are not just participants, they are catalysts. Their creativity and courage reshape the battlefield. They turn limitations into advantages. That is why you were chosen." Elias felt a deep sense of connection, not just with Lyra, but with every human fighting alongside him. Ordinary people became heroes. Fear became determination. Doubt became ingenuity. And through it all, humanity's spirit blazed brighter than any laser or energy shield. Hours passed, yet the humans maintained momentum. The alien fleet, though vast and technologically superior, began to retreat, frustrated by tactics they could not predict. They had underestimated humanity, and it was a mistake they would not soon forget. When the battle finally ended, the human fleet returned to base, victorious but not unscathed. Ships were damaged, pilots exhausted, and engineers working tirelessly to repair systems. Yet the atmosphere was electric with pride. Humans had faced a superior enemy and prevailed not through brute strength, but through intelligence, courage, and unity. Elias walked through the hangars, greeting pilots and engineers. Each smile, each word of encouragement, reinforced what he already knew: humans were extraordinary. Their unpredictability, their empathy, and their resourcefulness had won the day. Lyra approached him as the sun rose over New Haven, casting golden light across the city. "You have done well, Elias. Humans have proven what I always believed. You are capable of extraordinary things when united by purpose and heart." Elias smiled, exhausted but proud. "They were amazing. I knew humans were strong, but seeing them in action, it's different. They're clever, brave, and fearless. They didn't just fight, they surprised themselves and the enemy at every turn." Lyra nodded. "And that is the lesson. Humans are not ordinary. You grow through challenges, adapt through uncertainty, and inspire one another through courage. That is why the galaxy must take notice." Elias gazed at the stars, thinking of the battles yet to come. This victory, while significant, was only the beginning. The alien threat remained, stronger and more determined than ever. But Elias knew that humans, united and creative, could face anything. "Prepare the fleet for the next engagement," he said finally, his voice steady. We have shown them what humans can do, but this is only the beginning. We will not back down, we will adapt. We will fight and we will survive. And when we do, they will never underestimate humanity again. Lyra's eyes shimmered. Yes, Elias, humans will rise not because of power alone, but because of heart, courage, and unity. That is your true strength. As the humans repaired their ships and strategized for the coming battles, Elias felt a renewed sense of purpose. He had led explorers across unknown worlds, faced dangers in deep space, and survived challenges that others could not imagine, but nothing compared to this. This was about proving that humans, even when considered small and ordinary, could stand tall among the stars. The first victory had been won, but the war was far from over. Yet Elias knew one thing for certain. With humans united, creative, and courageous, they could face any enemy, overcome any obstacle, and carve a place for humanity in the galaxy that no one could ignore. Lyra hovered beside him once more, her gaze steady and proud. The galaxy will remember this day, Elias. Humans have shown what they are capable of, and together we will continue to prove that humanity's spirit is unmatched. Elias nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility, hope, and determination all at once. The alien threat remained, but humans had struck back. They had shown their courage, ingenuity, and unity, and as long as they fought together, there was nothing they could not achieve. The stars above New Haven shone brightly, bearing witness to the beginning of humanity's rise. And Elias Marlowe, with Lyra at his side, knew that the true story of human strength was only beginning. The stars above the colony of New Haven shone brighter than ever, a silent witness to humanity's triumph. The alien fleet that had once threatened the galaxy had retreated, forced to acknowledge that humans were a force no other species could underestimate. But even as the immediate danger subsided, Elias Marlowe knew that the galaxy had changed, and so had he. He stood on the command deck of the flagship, looking at the repaired human fleet. Ships gleamed under the sun's reflection, each vessel a testament to human ingenuity, courage, and determination. Pilots and engineers moved with quiet purpose, preparing for the journeys that lay ahead. They had survived the first wave of the alien threat, but more challenges awaited. Lyra hovered beside him, her radiant form glowing softly. You have done well, Elias. Humans have shown what they are capable of, courage, creativity, and unity. The galaxy has seen the beginning of a new era. Elias smiled, exhaustion and pride mixed in his expression. It wasn't just me. It was everyone, the pilots, engineers, scientists, ordinary humans who did extraordinary things. They showed the best of humanity. Lyra's eyes shimmered. And that is what makes humans remarkable. You inspire one another even in the face of overwhelming odds. Your spirit cannot be calculated, predicted, or controlled. That is why you survived. That is why your kind will thrive. Elias looked out at the stars, thinking of all the people he had met, the humans who had risked their lives and the bond they had formed. It was more than victory. It was a demonstration of humanity's strength, and it was only the beginning. In the days following the retreat of the alien fleet, Elias and Lyra worked tirelessly to strengthen the colonies, train new recruits, and prepare for any future threats. The humans were eager to learn, to grow, and to prove that their ingenuity and courage were unmatched. Every day brought new challenges, but each challenge became an opportunity for humans to shine. Lyra took Elias aside one evening, her gaze thoughtful. Elias, you have seen the best of humans in battle, but there is more to teach, more to explore. Your people are capable of cooperation beyond anything I have observed among other species. This is a chance to build alliances, to extend humanity's influence in a positive way. Elias nodded. You're right. Humans are resourceful and brave, but we also need to build trust, understanding, and collaboration with others. That's how we survive and thrive in the galaxy. Together, they began sending envoys to neighboring civilizations, sharing knowledge, offering assistance, and building networks of cooperation. Humans, with their creativity and empathy, became valuable partners. Other species, once skeptical of humanity's abilities, began to respect and even admire the human spirit. On New Haven, a celebration was held to honor the courage of those who had fought. Citizens, both humans and allies, gathered in the main square. Holographic displays showed the bravery and ingenuity of the fleet, highlighting the unexpected victories and the clever strategies that had turned the tide. Elias walked through the crowd, shaking hands, exchanging smiles, and offering encouragement. He saw young cadets inspired by their elders, engineers sharing new ideas, and pilots discussing innovative maneuvers. Humanity had learned from its own strengths, and the lessons would carry forward for generations. Lyra stood beside him, observing the scene with quiet pride. "They are remarkable," she said softly. "Humans do not just survive, they grow, adapt, and inspire. That is why I came to you, Elias. That is why I stayed." Elias smiled at her, memories of their childhood flooding back, the games, the laughter, the quiet moments of shared discovery. "You always believed in humans," he said, "even when we didn't fully understand ourselves." Lyra's eyes gleamed. "And you, Elias, have shown that humanity can rise to any challenge. That is why you led them, why they followed, and why we succeeded. Your courage and wisdom guided them." For a moment, they stood in silence, watching the crowd. The human spirit was alive and vibrant, stronger than any fleet or weapon. And through it all, the bond between Elias and Lyra remained a reminder that understanding, trust, and friendship could bridge worlds. As the celebration continued, Elias reflected on the journey that had brought him here. From childhood games to interstellar exploration, from ordinary curiosity to leading humans against an alien threat, every step had shaped him and those around him. The galaxy had tested humanity, and humanity had responded with courage, creativity, and heart. Lyra approached him once more, her expression gentle but serious. "Elias, the threat is not gone forever, but humans are ready. Your species has learned to trust itself, to cooperate, and to innovate. That is a strength no enemy can ignore." Elias nodded. "We'll be ready. Humans have proven themselves, and we will continue to grow, to explore, and to protect what matters. The galaxy is larger than we imagined, but our spirit is larger still." Lyra smiled, her radiant form glowing in the soft light of the setting sun. "And together we will explore it, humans and Alorians side by side, learning from one another, supporting one another, and showing the galaxy the power of unity and courage." The days that followed were filled with preparation and cooperation. Humans adapted alien technology, learning to combine it with their own ingenuity. Pilots trained for long-range missions, engineers designed flexible systems, and scientists collaborated to understand distant worlds. Every human who had fought in the battle shared their knowledge, teaching the next generation the importance of creativity, courage, and unity. Elias spent time mentoring new leaders, emphasizing the qualities that had made humanity victorious. "Remember," he would tell them, "it is not just technology or strength that wins battles. It is imagination, courage, and the will to protect what is right. Trust yourselves, trust one another, and you can achieve anything." Lyra observed quietly, often noting the incredible growth of humans in just a short time. She saw young cadets solving complex problems, engineers inventing tools that even advanced civilizations had not considered, and pilots executing maneuvers that defied logic but achieved perfect results. Humanity was evolving, not just surviving, but excelling. One evening, Elias and Lyra returned to the hill overlooking New Haven, the city bathed in golden light as the twin suns set. The air was calm, filled with the scent of blooming trees and the hum of the recovering colony. "We've come far," Elias said quietly. "From childhood memories to battles across the stars, humans have done more than survive, we've thrived." Lyra nodded, her eyes reflecting pride and affection. "Yes, Elias, and this is only the beginning. The galaxy will remember what humans are capable of. They are not just survivors, they are innovators, allies, and leaders. Their spirit will shape the future." Elias smiled, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. The challenges had been immense, but humanity had risen to meet them. He thought of the children playing in the streets, the engineers working tirelessly, the pilots sharing stories of daring maneuvers. Every person had contributed, every effort had mattered. "And we will continue," he said firmly. "Humans will explore, learn, and protect. We will not forget what we are capable of, and we will continue to inspire one another just as we did in the past." Lyra placed her hand gently on his shoulder. "And I will be with you, Elias. Together, humans and Alorians will face the stars, not with fear, but with courage, creativity, and unity. The galaxy will never be the same." Elias looked at her, memories of childhood flooding back once more, the laughter, the shared adventures, the quiet moments of connection. Now those memories had led to something greater, a demonstration of humanity's extraordinary spirit and a new bond between worlds. The city below glowed as night fell, lights twinkling like stars mirrored on the ground. Humans continued to prepare, to innovate, and to inspire, guided by courage and the knowledge that they had already faced the impossible and emerged victorious. Lyra's voice, soft but powerful, broke the silence. "Elias, do you remember why we started this journey?" Elias nodded. "Because humans are extraordinary, because courage, creativity, and heart can overcome even the greatest challenges, because connection, friendship, trust, and unity can bridge worlds." Lyra smiled, her radiant form shimmering in the twilight. "Yes. And now humanity's story continues, not just on Earth or New Haven, but across the stars. Humans will shape the future, not through domination, but through spirit, ingenuity, and heart." Elias took a deep breath, feeling the weight and wonder of the moment. "Then let's continue. There's so much to do, so much to explore, and so much to protect. Humanity is ready." And as they stood together, overlooking the city and the stars beyond, Elias knew that the future was bright. Humans had proven their strength, their courage, and their creativity. They had faced an advanced alien threat, triumphed through ingenuity and unity, and inspired hope across the galaxy. The adventure that had begun in childhood memories had grown into something far greater, a story of humanity's rise, a bond between worlds, and a promise that the human spirit would continue to shine among the stars. Lyra turned to him, her smile warm and radiant. "Elias, the galaxy awaits. Humans are ready, and together we will meet it not with fear but with heart, courage, and imagination." Elias nodded, looking out at the stars, feeling the pulse of humanity in every heart around him. "Then let's go," he said firmly. "The stars are ours to explore, to protect, and to inspire. Humanity is ready, and we will rise." Above New Haven, the stars shone bright, reflecting the light of hope, courage, and human spirit. Humanity had fought, survived, and thrived. The galaxy had witnessed the beginning of a new era, a time where humans, guided by heart and ingenuity, would shape the future in ways no one could predict. And for Elias Marlowe, standing beside Lyra, the journey had only just begun.